Let us solve a distance rate time problem using equations. Our problem today here says, a jet airplane leaves an airport traveling at a steady rate of 600 kilometers per hour. Another jet leaves the same airport 3/4 of an hour later, traveling at 800 kilometers per hour in the same direction. How long will the second jet take to overtake the first jet? The question is asking when and how will the second jet take to overtake the first jet. Let's understand why is it possible for the second jet to be able to overtake the first jet. It is possible because it's traveling faster than the first jet, though it has left later than the first jet. It's able to catch up and then overtake because it is going faster. So now let's look at the information really clearly in a table. So you have jet 1 and you have jet 2, which is the second jet. What is the rate at which the jets are traveling? That information is pretty easy to find. We know that the first jet is traveling at 600 kilometers per hour and jet 2 is traveling 800 kilometers per hour. What is the time that it's taking to complete the distance when the second jet will be ready to overtake? Do we know the time? No, it's an unknown. So let's define a variable for the time that jet 1 takes to reach that distance. Let's call it t. Now jet 2, we know, did not spend the same amount of time in the air as jet 1 because it started later. How much later? 3/4 of an hour later, which means it is spent t minus 3/4 time in the air as compared to jet 1. Now comes the distance. Now this is a very important part, because for the second jet to overtake the first jet, it must reach the point where the first jet is. It must catch up with the first jet and then it will begin overtaking. So at the point where it begins to overtake, the distance is same for jet 1 and jet 2. Now how will I calculate the distance? The distance can be calculated with rate times time. So d equals r times t, which in our case is 600 times t, that is 6t. And for jet 2, it is 800 times t minus 3/4. Remember to put it in brackets because t minus 3/4 is the time. It's one single quantity. Now it's time for us to create the equation so that we can solve this problem. I just said a little while ago that the point where the second jet begins to overtake the first jet, at that point the distance is the same for both of them. So if that is true, then the distance of jet 1 equals the distance of jet 2, which is 600t equals 800t minus 3/4 in brackets. Now it's time for us to solve this equation. Like all equations, we look to see if there are any brackets, and then we must make sure that we simplify the bracket. In this case, we'll use distributive property to simplify it. 600t remains as it is, and we use distributive property to make sure that our bracket is simplified. At this point, I can see the pattern and I can see that 800 times 3/4, 4 definitely goes in 800 200 times. So 200 times 3 will give me 600. Let me not forget all the other parts of the equation. Now our equation has been simplified and it's ready for solving. But I noticed that there is a variable on the right side as well as on the left side. So I'm going to try and get rid of the variable on the left side You can try and get rid of the variable on the right side. As long as you do the same thing to balance both sides, it's fine. And I can get rid of the variable by using the inverse operation of subtracting 600t from the left side, and I'm going to do the same on the right side. All I have is t on the left side, and I have 200, all I have is 0, all I have is 0 on the left side, and I have 200t minus 600. Now it's a two-step equation, and I'm sure you can solve it yourself. The answer to this equation is t equals 3. What does that mean? What does that mean, t being equals 3? T stands for time taken by jet 1. So if that is 3 hours, how much time or how long will the second jet take to overtake the first jet? So that would be t minus 3 over 4, and t is 3, so I'll substitute 3 for t, and I take away 3/4, I get 2 and 1/4. What is the unit we're talking about? We're talking about time, and it's all been in hours, so it will be 2 and 1/4 hours. So our final answer is, it will take 2 and 1/4 hours for the second jet to overtake the first jet.